Hi, Amy with AJ's Vintage Designs and Fashion Toppings here on the Dixie Belle YouTube channel, and I'm going to be showing you how to use no paint gel stain on top of a factory finish. Okay, this has already been done. This one is what I'm going to be doing today. So we're going to be starting off. I'll be using the Dixie Belle applicator pad to apply my gel stain, which is right here. You need to wear gloves because this is an oil-based product. It will be hard to get off of your hands. Put these on real quick. I'll just use one. And this is the no paint gel stain in the color Espresso. There is 6 colors. We have Espresso, Walnut, Georgian Cherry, Weathered Gray, Colonial Black, and Picklin White. But I'm going to be using the Espresso today. Okay, as you can see, this is a cherry wood. It does have a lot of flaws, a bunch of dings and little tiny scratches. Now the gel stain will help hide those, but it will not fill in dents and scratches. It's just gonna give you a solid color to kind of hide the imperfections, but like I said, it is not a solid where it's gonna fill in dents. So don't expect it to fill in dents. It's just gonna give you a beautiful finish. Okay, the first thing we need to do is you clean your piece very well. I used Dixie Belle's White Lightning, and then I rinsed it. Then, if you have a really glossy surface, if you want to, you can take a little sanding sponge or 220 grit sandpaper and just slightly wipe it over the piece. You don't want to use too strong of a grit of sandpaper because you don't want to leave any scratch lines in your top. So you can take a light sandpaper just to knock off the gloss a little bit. Like I said, I'm using Dixie Belle's sanding sponge, which is probably, this is an older one, but it's probably 220 or higher. Then I'm gonna wipe the dust off with the paper towel. I do have some paint along my edges, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the gel stain right over that. Now with the applicator pad, you just dip it into the gel stain, get a little bit, that's just a little bit, on your sponge. Now the key to this is thin coats. If you put it on too heavy, it'll take a long time to dry because it is oil-based. So we're not gonna dip in much. We're just going to use what I've got on my sponge, and I'm gonna wipe it in nice, smooth strokes. Now your first coat, since we are putting it on thin, look at how beautiful that coverage is coming on. Since we are putting it on very thin, you will have streaks on your first coat. So don't panic with your first coat. The first coat is gonna basically give something for the second coat to grip onto. So I'm picking up my sponge and going in one direction. And it's going on nice and smooth. And I'm going over it because I'm taking off any excess. Because like I said, if you have it on too thick, it will stay tacky and take a long time to dry. And I will show you close up what I mean by a thin coat. Go along the edges very carefully. If you've already painted your piece, you might want to tape it off because this is oil-based. It is harder to, you'd have to wait the 3 to 5 days to paint over it when it dries. Get around the back. This sponge gives you a lot of control. As you can see, I'm not re-dipping. A little goes a long ways. I just dipped the one time into the container and it was enough to cover this entire top. Now let me get along the side right here. And it takes usually 2 coats. Your first coat, like I said, I'll show you, will be a little streaky. And that is just getting the product on there. Your second coat will come around and after this is dried, the second coat will fill it in. I'll have to do a little touch up there now. Okay. Okay. I'm just making sure I don't have any excess gel stain. Like I said, the first coat is just to get it on there. It's gonna be streaky. And it will take 2 coats. Make sure you don't have any pooled up areas. Like I said, is gel. Gel stain sits on top of your surface. The watery, other oil-based gel stains you see on the market, they soak in. and Dixie Belle's Voodoo Gel Stain is water-based, and that soaks into wood. But the nice thing about the gel stain is it sets on top of the wood. So you're able to change the look of a factory finish with no stripping or sanding required. And that's all I use. Is that one time that I dipped, I got this whole top done. Let me bring you in. Okay, so now this one has 2 coats on it. This one has 2 coats, this one has 1. So you can see how the second coat fills in. I have the streaks here. But once again, it's gonna be used as a base for my next coat to go on. This has 2 coats on it. See how nice and solid it is? And if I wanna go even darker, I can put a 3rd coat on here. Now this has been drying. This has been drying now. It's been about 3 days. So I can put a 3rd coat on here, very thin, just rubbing it back and forth. And this will perfect my coverage. Normally I just do 2 coats, but I wanted you to see that how easy it is to put on the 2nd coat. It is, even though this is the 3rd coat. But it fills it right in. Just going back and forth. As easy as that. Now I have complete solid coverage here with a gorgeous finish, nice and smooth. This, like I said, has 1 coat on it. I'll come back when this is dried and I will show you how to put on the 2nd coat. Okay, so as you can see, I have the 1 coat on. I wanted you to see the 2nd coat. I'm reusing my pad, just using a different side. I'm gonna dip it into my espresso gel stain, wipe it off, so it's just wet. I don't have a bunch of chunks on there, it's just wet. And now I'm gonna put the 2nd coat on, and it's gonna fill in all the streakiness that we had from our 1st coat. And I just wanted you to be able to see how much the 2nd coat makes a difference. And like I said, I'm putting it on very thin so that it will dry. Sometimes, depending on the weather, it'll dry in a few hours. Other times it might dry overnight, but it's not cured and completely dry for 3 to 5 days. So I'm putting this coat on, going along my edges, just wiping back if I see any streaks. The pad makes a huge difference when it comes to applying the gel stain, nice and smooth. And depending on the thickness that you want, you can let this dry and put on a 3rd coat if you want it complete coverage. A happy dog in the background, sorry. Okay. I'm gonna put just a little dab here, a little more. So I can get some more coverage right there. I'm being very gentle. I'm barely putting any pressure on it at all. I'm just letting the foam pad, the applicator pad, do all of the work. Okay, now you can see huge difference. Look at the beautiful finish that it leaves. This is the espresso. This is 2 coats. I don't wanna get my messy hand. And there we go, there's its matching twin. This one actually, I put 3 coats on it because I did the demo earlier for you when I was putting on another coat, but the coverage is basically the same because I put it on so light, but I have complete coverage. It's absolutely a beautiful finish. So if you have a piece of furniture that has a factory finish, you don't want to sand it down, you don't want to strip it, but you want a nice, rich, deeper color to update it, and you don't want to paint, the gel stains is the way to go. Dixie Belle's No Paint Gel Stain is so easy to use. It has so much pigment to it. And once again, there's hardly any prep. The only thing I did was take a very light sanding sponge to the top of this, just to knock off some of the gloss, but not enough to scratch my top at all. And then wiped it off to remove any dust and applied the gel stain. Remember to wear gloves because this is oil-based. And also before you seal it, you must wait 3 to 5 days. I always say wait 5 days to be safe. I will be doing another video, it'll be a separate video, on how to put a clear coat on top of this to get a glossy finish. Now you know how to update your furniture that has a factory finish, or even kitchen cabinets. using the no paint gel stain. Okay, well this is Amy with AJ's Vintage Designs and Fashion Toppings here on the Dixie Belle YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click on that little bell so you're notified each and every time a new video goes up. You can also find me over on Facebook and Instagram at AJ's Vintage Designs, where I do weekly live tutorials, and also over on Fashion Toppings, which is my YouTube channel, which I do crafting, painting, and sewing. Okay, well until next time, I hope you have a great day.